So we've got a couple of different definitions to talk about. We've got luminaire, lighting outlet, and lighting track. They're close enough to each other that I wanted to just do it in one video. So we're going to start with luminaire. Even though that doesn't fall alphabetically in the right position, it doesn't make any sense to talk about lighting outlet before we talk about luminaire. So a luminaire is a complete assembly, including a light source and the components that connect it to a power source. It can also include parts for protection and aiming the light. So a luminaire is what we used to call a light fixture, or what, if we're being honest, what pretty much all of us still call a lighting fixture, unless we're talking, in terms of the NEC. So luminaires are what we used to call lighting fixtures. Luminaire is, kind of the international term that's used, so we're going to go ahead and call them a luminaire. They're discussed in Article 410. 410.6, for example, has requirements that they be listed. So here's your luminaire, the complete assembly. It's got the light source, it's got the way that it connects to the power source, it's got a means of protecting it and aiming the light source. It's also important to note that a lamp holder in and of itself is not a luminaire. So looking at the photograph here, we've got kind of a cold storage room underneath the front porch of a house, and that only has a luminaire. Is that okay? Sure. Yeah, nothing wrong. Or it has just a lamp holder, excuse me. Is that okay? Yeah, you don't need to have a luminaire. You can have a lamp holder, perfectly fine. But a lamp holder by itself is not a luminaire. So looking at this photograph, that's not a luminaire. That's just a lamp holder. So the next definition is lighting outlet. And that would be an outlet for the direct connection of a luminaire or a lamp holder. So we haven't covered the definition of outlet yet either, and it's kind of tricky. A lot of these definitions kind of rely on other definitions as well. So an outlet is a point on the premises wiring system where current is taken to supply utilization equipment. So really, it's not so much the lamp holder or the luminaire itself that's the lighting outlet. It's the box with the wire in it. That's the lighting outlet. And one of the things that you'll notice when you look at section 210.70, for example, that section requires lighting outlets in certain areas of dwellings and other buildings. In dwellings, we have to have lighting outlets in a lot of the different rooms. In other than dwellings, 210.70, B as in boy, it doesn't require quite as many. So the lighting outlet is the box with the wire in it. We connect it to a luminaire or a lamp holder. So this lamp holder is connected to a lighting outlet. If we look in the mirror, that wall sconce that's in the other room is also connected to a lighting outlet. The difference is that's a luminaire and that is a lamp holder. We also have lighting track or track lighting, and that's a factory assembly that supports and energizes luminaires, which can be repositioned on the track. Its length can be changed by adding or removing sections. So track lighting, we can make this longer if we wanted to. We can move these little luminaire heads around if we would like to. So that meets the definition of a lighting track. A couple of interesting things about lighting track as it relates to the code. 220, I'm going off the top of my head here, but I think it's 220.43, talks about feeder and service calculations for lighting track, and it says for every 2 feet or fraction thereof, you have to include 150 volt amps to your load calculation. It's imperative to understand that that is only for the feeder and service calculations. It does not limit the length of lighting track on any given circuit. The only limitation that you have on a circuit for lighting track is that the number of actual installed luminaires must not exceed the rating of the track. And the rating of the track can't be less than the rating of the branch circuit. So if you have a 20 amp branch circuit, you can't put more than 20 amps worth of luminaire heads on it. Makes sense. You also can't put a 15 amp rated track on a 20 amp branch circuit. If you did, and you put 20 amps worth of heads on it, well then the track could fail before the circuit breaker or fuse would open. So those are the code requirements for track lighting. There's really not too many other than the calculation and the rating of the track. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and ring the bell.